What it do, baby boo? It is April 28th, 2024, 7:24 p.m. Sunday. This is week 17. I did one of these very recently, so there's not much to report. And I definitely wasn't going to do it on Friday because I think I literally did the other one on Wednesday. So I'm kind of doing this as a formality. But something just happened today that kind of got me excited, and so I wanted to go on a walk, and I'm kind of out here strategizing anyway, so figured I'd do this real quick. It's either going to be really short or really long, I don't know, because I might end up kind of freestyling a little bit. So as of right now, I'm feeling amazing, man. I really got a vacation in the last couple days. Like deliberately making sure I didn't do anything, meaning not even working on YouTube, not streaming, nothing. Of course, it's gonna get windy right now. That's crazy. The only thing that I've been focused on for the last couple of days is my spiritual practice, essentially. I can't exactly explain why. I may have even talked about it in the last one. I can't really remember. That's one aspect of like just relaxing and, like being so organized, is that you remember a lot of stuff because you're constantly on top of it. So I've relaxed to the point of not remembering the details that well, and that's completely okay for now. But basically, I had in my journal at one point that the fact that the wind is picking up right now is so annoying. I'm trying to block it. I wrote in my journal, like, I just feel like I need to be very selective about whatever I'm consuming, and even more so because I was, I'm watching like a lot of like tarot stuff, and one of the people that I was watching just kind of was like, this doesn't really feel like it's about me, and it's still kind of infecting my mind, kind of what I talked about before. So I was like, okay, I need to even tighten that up even more. And I basically landed on listening to Ram Dass as entertainment, which is a huge thing. Like, it just became blatantly obvious to me that that's what I needed to do. And like once I had the idea, it was like, okay, yeah, no, this is so obviously the right choice that I'm not even going to question it. Ram Dass is someone, it's crazy because it's been a very long time since I've listened to him. But there was a period around like probably from like 2011 to like 2015, 16, where I was listening to him and his contemporaries all the time. And that it has a big part in kind of my approach to life. Him and Eckhart Tolle, like when I read Be Here Now, I read The Power of Now soon after that. And I mean, it resonated then. And, it's kind of crazy because, I have integrated a lot of what has been said. So I'm receiving the information that I'm listening to a lot differently. It hits different now. So, but it still has that same timeless kind of vibe to it that it had when I first started listening to it. And I haven't even listened to that much, but essentially, what I've been focused on is my vibration the last couple days. I don't know how much of it has to do with what happened when I went to Tampa and the days following that. Because part of me feels like, oh, I took those days off thinking like, it was all good. But it's like, I essentially have come to realize it's never enough. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's just never quote unquote enough, is kind of how I received it, how everything went. Because I'm like, well, who knows what would have happened had I gone in there with, just what if. And listening, so I want to basically avoid dramatic things. I want to avoid pointless things, and essentially I want to focus on intentionally smiling and sessions. And that being, which is sort of how I started, this whole thing. It's kind of like getting back to my roots, going back to the basics. I have avoided smoking and drinking, which, I do mention every time, pretty much. But is specifically special this time because, like the vacation, again, in the future, it may be the time that I allow for drug use, but I'm not trying to do that. But I also feel differently about it right now. I almost feel I'm actually kind of annoyed at the fact that I keep thinking about it, because it's so unnecessary. Like I just know that if I do what I'm supposed to do, right, that I won't need it. You understand? So that that kind of and like the last couple of days, I mean, I'm literally just like, like right now, I literally feel like high. I'm high on my own supply. You know what I'm saying? I'm drunk on dreams, whatever you want to call it. So I'm trying not to think about the past too much and why I'm in, like obviously I went through it and it is what it is. So I don't want to overanalyze it, but it definitely does have the effect that it's having, which is me taking my spirituality more seriously. And why that is, I'm not entirely sure. I think I explained it okay. It's basically like that's something that I eased up on, and I basically received that it's never enough. So like quote unquote enough. You don't have to, drown yourself in love and blase blah, be happy or whatever. But the idea is, and Ram Dass talks about this, and it's part of the reason why I do what I do anyway, just because of it's like a compassionate, loving act. So, I'm just like, okay, anyway. Yeah, so, you don't have to, but And it's like almost like I don't even think it would have changed anything in terms. It's almost like it's not about the result that I received from my like attempt at achieving my dreams, right? That's not what it is. It's like having the time to think about everything, combined with that, right? Because me going through that after having eased up, and then having the time to think, it's just like, okay, the most important thing that I can do is this. And also, it does, my not having success with that doesn't impede on my ability to do this, which is my spiritual practice, right? So, and technically, that's all I need. And there's like so many little things. Like when I was in Tampa, a girl came up to me, an Asian girl, and she was, she prayed for me or whatever, evangelizing, right? And she said, "We have God. We don't. What else do we need?" Which might be at the time was probably a little bit frustrating to hear, a little corny or whatever. But I mean, she's right, you know. So a lot of little stuff like that, stuff I can't even remember to be able to explain. I just kind of have been, on that tip, and it's resulted in what it's resulted in, which is intense spiritual practice, focusing more on, theory crafting with ChatGPT. Like I've been thinking about, I think it's called, what is it called? Let me see if I can pull it up. I think it's called the Barnsley Fern. Yeah. So, in these like kind of thinking, whatchamacallits with ChatGPT, something that occurred to me, which, this is weird, but essentially, information that has stuck with me that I use as motivation is, I learned that there's 9 dimensions from this guy who in a past life was an Egyptian, I guess, or some shit like that, and he has like knowledge about shit. Anyway, he talks about 9 dimensions, and essentially that we live in the 9 dimensions all at once, but we are conscious of the 3rd dimension, and basically in the 9th dimension, it is only one thing. Okay? So I've played with that idea, and essentially it's like, it's just me here, it's just me. This is everything, right? So they talk about being a drop in the ocean, or a drop of the ocean, and also the ocean simultaneously, right? You think about the idea of like the man in the mirror. If you want to change the world, start with the man in the mirror. A recent addition is this Barnsley Fern. Like the universe is like, there's some deep something about it being a fractal thing. You know what I mean? It's deeply very fractal. People talk about us being in a simulation, in a matrix, that kind of thing. And essentially the idea is that what I'm experiencing is the only thing happening. 1, 2 is the it is a smaller piece of the whole, but it's all the same. So that's what the Barnsley fern is. It's a it's a fractal image, and it's a leaf-looking thing. And when you look at the large one, it looks like a leaf, but then if you zoom in, it's made up of itself, essentially. So that's, I guess, an explanation of fractal. It's just a thought thing that I use. So essentially, we are all like cells in a body, atoms in a molecule or whatever. But it's all the same. So in this whole thing, you have to understand the omnipresence of God, I'll put it like that, and just the power of love, essentially. So it's easier for me because I'm alone a lot of the times by choice. It's a preferable way of being because of the complications that meditating as a group cause. But quote unquote meditating, I'm trying to stay on my spiritual square here. But so the point is, and there's actually like probably an infinite amount of ways to arrive to the conclusion. You don't even have to be a loving individual. You could be extremely selfish. You can be, a gazillion different things, honestly. And you could still end up doing what I'm doing, and I'm sure that people accidentally stumble on like things automatically just by following their gut and their instincts or whatever. But it's love, brother. It's loving oneself, essentially, and raising your vibration is what it is. By doing that, you are changing the world. You are improving the collective consciousness. So it's not only the best feeling thing to do, it's the most responsible thing to do, and the most compassionate thing to do, and XYZ, all that good jazz. So I wrote in my journal, I wrote like it's that serious, essentially. I also have continued to receive hints that my parents sabotaged my, I say parents. Yeah, I'm just leave that alone. My parents basically sabotaged my stay in Tampa. But I could be wrong. Anyway, yeah, so the reason why that's relevant is just because I feel like it's like, well, that means that they want me here, is the point. And they want me here because of the energy, essentially. And it turns out that me being here actually is beneficial for me for that purpose, so that I can continue to do that practice. It's the only thing that really makes sense. So, for right now, that is my focus. I'm going to I may try to like ease back into working out, but to be honest with you, I was already kind of tempted to do it today. Like, I was kind of like, okay, so I'm doing my practice, right? Which is like waking up, intentionally smiling, and doing that for as long as I can kind of stand until I get the urge to do a session. Because eventually that's kind of what happens. You get so much dopamine, you get so much, comfort that it just kind of naturally escalates to a session. Do that for like an hour. That seems to be like sometimes two, but do like that for an hour, and then, it seems to be a comfortable amount of time. It's a nice round number. And then go, like, again, trying to maintain that smile. Then going, sorry, then go around here. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And then I keep trying to like turn down streets, and then I'm seeing people, and then like turning around. What was it? Yeah, so trying to maintain a smile the whole time. That genuinely time spent smiling is like the cheat code, essentially. It changes everything. And honestly, like, trying to speak while maintaining it is difficult. Trying to do things, like, instead of just sitting there and smiling, right? That's easy. But like doing things like playing StarCraft or getting dressed or whatever, it feels like, or eating, or like preparing food. I don't think you can do it when you're eating. I don't think that's how that works, but you could try. Just remembering to do that and then actually doing it, it feels like low-key kind of corny or something. It's like it just changes the way you move and the whole attitude that you have towards what you're doing. And yeah, so intense, like, full-on fucking love ritual, goddammit. And then, you have to settle down a little bit, right? So it's like time in that state, more time is better. I would like to increase that, but for now, I'm basically at the hour. You just kind of chill, and it's kind of like the first two. You wake up, you like kind of do it, smile for an hour, just laying down, and then like you do an hour, smile for an hour, do another hour, and then from there it kind of tapers off. To like I don't really want to do another session as much, but I think it's kind of like if you don't have anything else to do, it just kind of naturally kind of happens, which is positive. And it just feels amazing, and it's like, I don't know, you can kind of feel like lazy or like I don't know, like a lunatic if you want to. It's like, oh wow, so that's what you're doing. It's like, I am truly blessed because I have the opportunity to do so. Actually, and also the fact that what's it called? The fact that I can, like, I actually physically can, meaning I don't have pain. I can stand it, I feel like most people haven't actually haven't practiced enough to be able to sustain that for long periods of time. And even for me, it can be a challenge. So I know it's something you get better at. And then, you just attach that to the whole, man in the mirror concept. And it's like, this is just the most responsible thing that I can do. Nothing is more important than that. And then, I kind of connect that with stuff that Ram Dass talks about. Like today I was thinking about how he talks about like basically existing on two planes at the same time. So for me, it's like there's the spiritual journey, which is the more important one to me. And then in my physical, who I am, I'm a businessman, essentially. I am a beginner businessman. That is essentially what I'm doing. And from my knowledge of what's going on with the 9-dimension things, like, there will be a correlation there, of success in my spiritual life, and then a increase in the financial aspect of things. And I already have a ton of knowledge and a ton of vision and all that most people wouldn't even dream of. and that's a direct result of divine inspiration, of attempting to raise my vibration, and then applying that, I'll say applying that, or having, just being given answers to questions from a very high vantage point, if you will, and imagining very beneficial situations taking place, essentially. So, basically daring to dream, if you will. Speaking of correlations, by the way, I'm at my highest MMR right now, I think. 3405. I haven't been playing very much. It's a distraction from what we're talking about. So, it's not a priority, and I haven't been streaming. Because that limits my ability to just hop into a session, you know what I mean? So, I think what I'm gonna start doing is streaming. Like when I do streams, I'll just, like, what I'm doing now is what I used to do, which is basically title my replays that are special wins or whatever, and then I'll just go back and watch them on stream, and then I'll have more replay, like a denser amount of replays per hour stream, so I won't have to stream as much, to be able to keep posting on YouTube at the clip that I have been, which is going to lead to not as many duelist and chess games, because I probably just will be playing less games in general. And also, like, I've just been, in terms of the games I've been playing, like, I thwarted a cheesy attack the other day. It was a very aggressive Zerg, and I did that twice, actually. There was just like an aggressive Zerg, and then there was a 12 pool Zerg, and I just was able to thwart that. Honestly, I think it's just because I feel good. Everything I'm doing is working. So, yeah. Going forward, I think the priority. So I was talking about this before. So basically, I'm feeling myself, like it happened earlier, where I was like, oh, I have this spare time. I've done my sessions, and I've been doing my intentional, smiling meditation for a decent amount of time, and today's been amazing. And I've been doing this for like 2-3 days or whatever, right? But I still have time. So this is why, what do I do now, right? And then it's immediately like, work out, right? What would I add? And it's like exactly what I'm gonna start doing tomorrow, which is my sets again, and posts. Right? You sprinkle that in. And I'm probably going to space them out more. I'm not going to do them so like a machine, unless I have to, unless my schedule doesn't permit me to spread them out. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up doing, like, it'll be about 2 hours, like, especially at the beginning. I'll probably do I'll probably wake up, do a set. I might do it a little bit wonky at first or some shit, but point is, they'll be more close together, and then they'll kind of disperse out as the day goes on, just naturally. And I'll kind of do them as I see fit, not on a time basis, because I feel like that is kind of stressful. And I was kind of doing this a little bit before too, where I wasn't really timing myself. And yeah, I just ended up, knocking them out, dispersed. I feel like I'm all over the place. So basically, that's what school starts on Monday. I'm trying to wait as much as possible to get the books, but if they're like cheap enough to where it's kind of like not a huge deal, I'm just gonna rent digital copies of them through, I think it's called Newegg, or maybe get them free if I can. So they could be really cheap. If it's like $1 to $5, like just get them, which is probably what it's gonna end up being. And then I'm just gonna like see how much time I have after starting school, right? So now it's gonna be spirituality. I'm gonna go back to doing my sets and my posts and YouTube, and then add school. Do that for a little bit, and then I know I'm gonna get about, it's like 1,500 plus from school, right? Which is beautiful. Hopefully, everything continues to go as it's been going with my EBT money. I don't know if it affects whether or not if I can re-up. I don't know. I can't really remember. So, yeah, that would be an interesting thing to see. But it shouldn't matter because this is like the first like large sum of money that I'm gonna get from my whole plan. In like a month from now, a little bit, like a month and some change, I'll get that cash, and my bills right now are $130. My phone, I don't know what's gonna happen with that. So I'm a little bit. That's another like thing that might have to be adjusted. But depending on, basically, there's a few things that I may do. Right, I'm gonna continue to take care of my sunflowers. So whatever that costs, that's gonna happen, right? Which, by the way, I think one of them may be dying. They seem to be ready to do the next step. One of them may not have made it though. It kind of like curled into itself. And yeah, but so far, like this, we're still good. There's still plenty of life in the majority of them, and maybe even that one. But so I'm gonna take care of the sunflowers. I'm going to get back to working out. I'm considering, because of there's like an awkward transition that I have to make where if I'm gonna up the weight, I have to move where I'm gonna be doing a lot of the working out at, and I need like cushion where I'm gonna be doing the sit-ups at, and I need a place to do the pull-ups that's more convenient. So if just because where the weights are, I need to move stuff around, and I might have to purchase more weights. By the way, this whole thing feels like the beginning of fall, and we are not even in summer yet. Like the way that this feels with the whole starting school and like just where I'm at with my development throughout the year, it's like I feel like I've skipped all the way to freaking August or whatever, and it's not. I'm like low key. I want to say that I'm ahead is basically what I'm trying to say. I feel like I'm ahead. So I'm thinking about maybe starting TRW back up again, right? So that would add $50 to my monthly. And then I'm thinking about starting Hold My Hand Wholesale as well. So those two things. And then another thing I'm thinking about doing is Because I'm out of marijuana related. Well, basically, I'm out of marijuana related things, right? And part of me doesn't mind. I think these two things are kind of like anti each other, low key. It's like, do I want to relax more? Right? So first of all, do I want to spend any more money, period, right? Then if I do I want to relax more, or do I want to try to earn, like, maybe up the stress a little bit, but try to earn more money? And I really don't know. I don't have a clear idea of how I want to do it, or do I want to do both somehow? I know I do want to purchase like a mouse and keyboard, gaming mouse and keyboard. That I do want to do. But that's probably the only purchase really that I want to make right now. Besides whatever the sunflowers need. So yeah, the marijuana thing would be like purchasing, get like a little sack, right? And then I would have to purchase like I know how to make a gravity bong out of like a 2-liter and a bucket. And basically I would do that. And it's super efficient. Like, the amount that I would need to get like ridiculously high with that is basically nothing. And that's why I would need to go to a fucking like tool place, find a metal like thing to use as a fucking bowl, and then make that shit, and then purchase flour. I think that's what I would be willing to do. And then basically I just kind of get in the mode of like, okay, doing that every 4 or 5 hours, and I know I'll be chilling. Like, that's probably something similar to what I'd be doing in the ideal situation. Like if I had all the money in the world, basically. But I don't know that I want to do that. Because, like I said earlier, about how I feel about the whole smoking and drinking thing. Oh, shut up. God damn. There's 2 of them. That's a nice house. That's funny. They have a thing blocking this side of the fence, but not the other side, which is interesting. Because I'm like, are you afraid of them jumping through that, or? Interesting. Yeah. But it's essentially what I said it was going to be. I'm just like, I'm going to probably, I may, another thing that's also in the cards, right, that I've been thinking about, that's been popping in my head during sessions and just me thinking and stuff, is the idea of me potentially extending how long I have the trade line on my report, because you can extend it by a month for, you just have to pay that extra money. And so I have that, I can do that. Let's say if it looks like I'm going to get the settlement a month out from when it's going to stop reporting, I'd be like, okay, let me re-up this thing. That's a potential thing that I can do. Let's see. And then also like trying to pre-qualify for things online, like I don't know what happened with that application. Maybe it was messed up a little bit because because of how I was feeling that day, with things that were said to me and just like the interaction that we had. So maybe it's possible that I do get accepted if I try to pre-qualify online, or if I do talk to somebody over the phone or something like that. So that's still up in the air. I'm also thinking about potentially buying views for the YouTube video. I don't know if I mentioned that before. So these are all interesting ideas, things that have popped into my mind that I can kind of do still to kind of, I don't want to say salvage because it's not like anything bad is going on, but kind of still make use of the previous attempts. Like just to I guess, like ways that it wasn't a waste of time. You know what I mean? So that's part of what I'm doing now. I feel like I need to realize that good things are coming regardless, and I need to, send out unconditional love, meaning, that I don't have, without expectations of anything. Loving in and of itself is a reward for loving, and I would do it regardless. But there has been, and there low-key is, an expectation of a reward other than, the love that I feel by doing what I'm doing. So I think that pain that I felt about things going sideways, it's two-pronged. It's like expectations and then also letting my foot off the gas are the two things that I didn't do that well. Because if I had done a session that morning whenever I was dealing with my mom, no doubt I would have been more smooth. No doubt I would have been more resilient, to whatever negative energies may have been thrown at me, even including getting denied. So like if I was denied, I could have been like, oh, I could have shook it off a lot easier. But instead, because I had all these expectations and I didn't, and I let my foot off the gas, there was like a level of what if-dom, and a level of what if-dom, and a lack of resilience. And the thing is that because I did that, now I'm all the way out the mood. You know what I mean? So it took a minute for me to get back. So that's what I learned from that experience. Is essentially, don't let your foot off the gas. Number one, it is that serious. And then don't have expectations, which I didn't really. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's like, yeah, you can try stuff, but you don't have to. I mean, I don't know. Why would I try something if I don't expect it to work? So it's kind of like, but basically don't do, like, what you're doing isn't, like, don't taint what you're doing by expecting something in return, is what I'm trying to say. Or if you're going to use expectations as like motivation, I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit weird, but yeah, that's what it seems to be. It's about expectations and then not letting my foot off the gas. But that being said, like I said, we could buy views for the YouTube, keep pushing it, keep promoting it. We can obviously continue to do our gaming stuff. try to salvage the application or maybe do another kind of application. Because, you know, we still have the score for another month or two, and we can extend that. We've got 1,600 coming-ish. And in theory, our bills don't rise and our income doesn't change otherwise. So that could be money saved towards a van, you know. I considered that as well. I thought about potentially, you know, like that's, I kind of have to weigh out, like, do I just want to hold this money? But right now, as I say that, it doesn't sound good, but do I want to just hold it and try to build it up so I can, like, if I get a settlement, I can get a van, get up out of here? Or do I want to continue to kind of invest in myself, essentially, and try to get out that way? But once again, I'm gonna say this like as if I'm speaking to myself. Do not think about the past. Like, it was a possibility that nothing would happen. We knew that, right? And the ideal response is to move on, right? And we know how to do that. We have the answer to how to do that. So it's not something that we need to revisit because it doesn't feel good to think about, right? You basically take what you take, which is positive, you know, constructive criticism, which is don't let your foot off the gas, and you know, try to not have, don't make your love conditional, is essentially what it is, and you'll be straight. So, and also, like I've been saying, if things, we already know what we're gonna do if for whatever reason we end up having to leave, whether that's because we can't stand living here anymore, or if we just can't because it's not an option for us. Like, I already know the next play. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Probably, it's actually pretty good. I don't think I overdid it. This is it's on the longer end of the spectrum, probably, for what I would like these to be, but it ended up being more of a spitball-y kind of thing. So just to kind of recap, primarily focus on my spirituality right now. That is my primary objective. There is a possibility that I extend this quote unquote vacation for another week. It is a possibility that I do that. That being said, when I say vacation, what I mean is not working out, not posting, and not doing YouTube, because I'm still gonna have to do schoolwork, and I'm still gonna have to do sessions, and I'm still gonna have to do meditation and all that good stuff. So I think it's more likely that I will start working out again tomorrow, even if I do maybe the same amount of weights. Like, if I start back at like 10 reps with the 40-pound dumbbells, kind of just to kind of ease back in and give myself some time to figure out a solution for the location of stuff. But I think it's more likely that I'll do that and stream less, all that good jazz. So I appreciate you listening. Love you. This is week 17. We are just getting started. Deuces.